Hello all, it's the Old Geek, and in this video I'm going to give a brief outline of one of the most commonly ignored rules in Old School D&D, and an example of how I used it last night. And that is morale. How many times do you, as DM, or your DMs, if you are players, forget to check morale at the beginning of a sequence of actions? I do. I'm trying not to forget it, but I still do forget from time to time. The version of D&D I'm currently running is OSE, Old School Essentials. For those unfamiliar with it, OSE is a modern retro clone of the 1981 basic D&D game, and it incorporates elements of expert D&D and AD&D in a no-fuss manner. It's well organised and it's extremely simple to understand. A lot of the rules are optional as well, so it's win-win. I ran a session last night. The party consisted of 5 first level characters with between 2 and 7 hit points each. There's a paladin, which is a class added by the advanced OSE rules, and then there's a traditional race as class elf, a cleric, a magic user, and a thief. They entered a room in which 6 hobgoblins were arguing. Now, for any of you unfamiliar with hobgoblin stats, they are similar to those of a decent first level fighter. So the party were in trouble. They were outnumbered, and hobgoblins can hit pretty hard with a sword, causing a d8 damage. After an awkward attempt to parley, soured by the presence of an elf in the party, a fight broke out. The hobgoblins won initiative and charged the party. 3 hobgoblins each on the elf and the paladin, as the other 3 party members were standing back. All the hobgoblin attacks missed. The party mostly returned the favour, with just the thief hitting with a crossbow bolt for a couple of points of damage. So after the first round, the hobgoblins still outnumber the party. There had been no significant damage done, so there's no need to roll for morale for the hobgoblins right now. Round 2, the hobgoblins go first and roll poorly again, with only 1 scoring a hit and causing just 2 points of damage to the elf, which was lucky for him, as with just 5 hit points it was 50% likely the blow would kill him immediately. The party, however, had a big change in their fortunes. Most of them hit, and the 2 melee combatants both rolled very well for damage, and 2 hobgoblins were slain outright. Thus, when the hobgoblins got their turn during round 3, I rolled for morale, and as they were now outnumbered, had lost 2 of their own with others injured, and they had inflicted only minor damage to the enemy, I applied a -1 penalty. Hobgoblin morale is 8. And this became 7 with that -1. I rolled 2d6, and I rolled 8. They failed, causing them to attempt to flee, using all of their combat movement to reach the exit door. This gave the melee fighters a free attack with a +2 bonus to hit, and another hobgoblin was killed. The 3 remaining humanoids pulled frantically at the door, but in vain, as the party's magic user had cast Whole Portal on it, and thus another hobgoblin's life was ended. At this point, with the exit sealed off from them, the remaining 2 hobgoblins turned back to fight, as they had no means of escape. But they were swiftly put to the sword. I think it might have been the mace, I think it might have been the cleric's mace ended it. Can't remember exactly. This party won this fight for 2 reasons. The dice fell very nicely for them at the start of the combat, and then the morale rule came into play. Morale also helped make the combat exciting. It felt dynamic, it flowed, and it was fast moving. Plus, and most importantly for this style of game, it was quick. It was a single 2d6 roll. No complicated mechanics here. Morale is there in Old School D&D, and it is there for a reason. So, when playing old school games, use it. One thing I am still wondering this morning, though, is why the elf didn't use his sleep spell. But hey, players be players.